right, we'll do that.
This grading system, what I'm hearing from you, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it didn't add anything to what you already knew. That it took the test scores that you already had access to and categorized them and graded them in kind of a rough way for the public.
That's my understanding, and don't you have any additional information? But the problem with that is while it was used and based on that same information, it's really hard, just like this scenario you gave about Maumelle Middle School, it's really hard as a parent or for any of us to look and one report that comes out, you look really pretty good, and then the other report, you have a D.
So what is the, other than just making it accessible to all of us, what is the purpose of this ranking? I assume there's some articulated purpose here.
I'm really not sure. To be quite honest with you, I'm not.
So it's not data that you use because it doesn't add to your understanding?
Quite honestly, it's confused, and I'm just speaking for myself. I don't want to get anyone else in trouble, but I'm very confused by, and I understand, I think very well-meaning people are trying to help, perhaps be more transparent, or that may be the thought that if people see an A, B, C, D, or F, it might make more sense. What it has done for those of us who've worked in this a long time is really clouded the playing field because it's very difficult. I don't understand it. I've read it and I can explain and look at based on one source of data what they looked at. But right now we're looking at everything based on the last year's benchmark scores, which report we already had, which was the state report card that listed all of this, the long one that was in the paper every year. And now we have a new one that supposedly correlates to the state report card, but when you really look at it, it's not measuring the same thing.
You know, the irony for us, for those of us who have children, is that we hear our children treated the same way as the school district. You know, that our children are tagged and our children are tested, and the nuance of our children, all those nuances are lost. So I understand it. As a parent, I'm less sympathetic. So I want to make sure that, I'm sure, that your dissatisfaction with this and the way it makes the district look is being communicated up to the state board who is publishing these grades.
But I think they're publishing these as a result of statutory obligation on them.
Okay,
Yeah.
So then are we contacting legislators to let them know that this is not helpful? Because it really looked horrible in the paper.
You did. And I'll tell you one other layer, and again, I'll get in trouble for just talking. I do that quite often. Let me say one more thing. I also heard from a grandmother, and if you really want to know, I'm not a grandma yet, but if you really want to know how people feel about it, ask those who have grandchildren. But she was saying much of what you just said, but she indicated to me that there is another group that is about to put out another grading scale, and evidently has the power behind it to move forward with it, and that's not what we need. You know, if we could just get back to something basic that we could all understand and agree on. So,
But of course, it's different when it's a private. When it's a private group, it's different.
Yes.
When it's coming from the state, it has some legitimacy that we should worry about. So if we don't like the way these things, I hope that we're jumping up and yelling about it, that it's not fair.
And I don't know what the future holds with that, but I do think there will be some very civil ways we can hopefully come together and share some of those ideas. But